Sorry, boys. Sorry about that.
It's a fact of life, right?
Well, and depending, everybody's cycle is so different, whether it's heavy or light, and if you're having a heavy one and you've got to run through the whole school,
Right.
that could be disastrous.
Right. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
drive more fun, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no reason we can't do better.
Anything else on slide 4? So we will be renumbering as you said with that. And now I'm on slide.
Sorry, I'm just gonna stop you. I know you mentioned it before, as far as grammatical.
Yeah.
So in some of your parentheses, you include a period and then some you don't. So
And and that one, like, so on slide. Oh, it's on slide 4. Like this one, this probably should be in the speaker notes. So that
exactly.
the
I agree.
speaker can state that.
Yes.
And, so in the speaker notes, I would put number 1,
Mhm.
and you don't have to correlate, if that still is number 1. after
Yeah.
it, But, statistics. Okay, so I just moved. Presenting, you have to do it to get it to show up there. So I put it in the speaker notes and then I separated these 2 out into 2 separate bullets there. Because they were both together as one. So I left it revised on confirmation now, or frequently, and then establish process to update statistics in years. Okay, so now I'm moving again to the slide 5.
I'm just gonna comment on whoever put the number 11 one in there. But is this realistic
That
component?
was me.
Okay.
I wanted to hear if you in
Yeah.
classroom.
No, that's awesome.
There's a lot to ask of you.
Yep,
guys.
so at least during the presentation, that's done by either the nurse practitioner or by the pediatrician. They're doing the vast majority of the speaking, and there's at least 2 other teachers in the room. So for sure, one of us could scribe, that component of it. I really like it. I know I shared it out with you last time that when the one question was addressed and she said, and it kind of goes back to your point earlier, when she said, but how, one of the students asked, how do the egg and the sperm meet? And she said, that's a conversation you can have with your, parents or your trusted adults at home. So it was easy enough to defer a non-value type question, and we could easily document that because that girl obviously is questioning it,
Right,
you know, and if she is, it's likely somebody else would be.
right.
So I
Just
think
have to
if we
go back.
stayed at that, you know, last year we didn't have medical professionals in the rooms with us. It would have been a little more challenging. We probably would have had to, you know, ask for a pair or somebody to do it. But having that presentation taken over by the professionals does free us up. So, yes.
Yeah, I was just more like, is it realistic? Cause
Yeah.
a lot's expected of you
Right.
already, you know,
Yeah.
to just.
No, that would be great, and I think, you know, some of our kids would appreciate it too. It might not be a question they feel comfortable verbally asking,
Sure.
but if their parents have it in front of them, they can say, hey, let's just talk about a few things that I see came up with other kids your age at school today. So, I do like that one.
Yeah.
And most of the, I think this is common practice, but most of the questions at the presentation I was at, they were written down.
Hmm.
So there were a few questions that the kids.
For
raised
sure.
at the end, but most of those questions were written down, so it was easy to go back later and.
Yeah.
compile.
And that allows.
Definitely something that could warrant further discussion at home.
So then maybe on the slide, are you gonna take that little question off of there? Or should it stand there that it says, is this realistic? Yeah.
So 14 was added in, when she absence at an earlier age. And right now it says maybe 6th or 7th grade has a small percentage of youth and sexual activity in 7th and 8th grade. So currently it's not, we don't do HGD in 6th grade or 7th grade.
Correct.
So-
So that'd be if the new curriculum was added to those
Sure.
units. Yeah.
And then number 15 mentioned birth control at an earlier age as well. So that it's taught alongside abstinence. And,
Um,
I think there's a open computer over here.
oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, my invite said 6, was it not at 6?
no, it's at 7. If your time is, I'm not at 7.
5.
But-
Oh, mine's at 6.
They should all say 5, but if your time zone is off,
I don't have it, I don't know what that means.
if your computer is set to a different time.
It's my
zone.
phone, it's the same thing as everything I would get.
so, what happens sometimes is
Yeah, no, it's at 6 o'clock.
in a Google, invitation, I had a teacher one time go, why are we doing these all at 2 AM? And they had it set to a different part of the world.
That is funny.
When I was looking for it, when I opened,
Oh,
that invite, it automatically set in my calendar at that time, so. when
Everything else I everybody is over
later,
here.
I was like, this time is
Oh,
wrong.
that's
And
next week.
that's why.
Oh.
When I opened it,
Yeah.
no, it was
No,
not
it's
an
still
hour
wrong.
difference.
So it didn't autocorrect it once you
No.
went back?
I think I just accept, yeah, that was weird.
All right, my bad.
You're at a good part though.
Yep, you're at it.
Yeah, it's a separate percentage.
oh, yeah, sorry, I wanted to comment on that part there, in correlation to the person's comment about the recommendation, for multiple, forms of birth control. If you look at the data, which I know we're off a year or two in the cycle, one of the statistics that just stood out to me that was so alarming was that 81% of youth reported that the last time they had sexual intercourse, they did not use protection. 81, yes, in that. So I know we probably need multiple sources to show our data, but, you know, they use a condom. Sorry, it was worded as 81% did not use a condom. So, you know, making sure that they're exposed to multiple options.
So they might have used another form of birth control, although with diseases, that's not going to, you know,
And,
be
and
it, but
Tom is commenting on here as
Oh.
this is going about like why condoms are the ones that are said because it's in the STD portion of it.
Got it.
So that's why that's
Yeah.
one. I mean, I guess like I like the idea of this I don't know that it necessarily fits.
On slide 4, in the speaker notes, I'm going to need to revise that, because it's automatically numbering them now every time I return it into one. So, I will use words to say with point 1, in blah, 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 with item 2, instead of the numeration, because it's, automatic. All right, so back to slide 5, 14 and 15, I moved down to slide 7. So I'm going to delete those two, but before I do, I want to make sure that we've had a chance to review the comments that were made on here, so that because once I delete 14, oh no, because those are linked to number 1. So I'm deleting 14 and 15 there, because I moved it down already. Cool. So anything else with what remains on slide 5? So on slide 6 in the speaker notes, and again, when there will be more items on slide 6, let me properly sneeze them, but I'm going to put for the speaker to indicate. So when we share that one, we want to make sure that it is emphasized over. I am going to drop down to slide 7 now. We're going to push. So then I think that I'm going to take this part. On the computers, you can see it highlighted. Move it down below.
Whenever abstinence is, like, if we're starting to talk about sex, we should talk about all things. different.
So like, I know it'll be like, okay, so the way like, I'm trying to picture it happening, right, so it gets presented. And then everyone there will have this on their screen and up on the board, right, at the school
It
board.
depends on if they have, so the curriculum committee, they don't always have their screens out because
Cause it's up on the big
it's up
screen.
on the board, or they have, so, everything in here, this whole thing is speaking of everything in board docs from them training.
Got it, so,
Along
So it won't
with
just-
all of
Okay.
these documents. that-
Sure. as long as it all stays together, so then that's an obvious, like, that's supposed to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say that instead of being two different lines, be like absence, birth control, contraceptive, it's like safe sex or lack thereof is discussed at the same time, at an earlier time than it is now. Kind of lumping it all together.
With the
so
abstinence.
Yeah.
Because right now,
Safe
it's
sex or
wait
lack
until
thereof.
at least eighth grade, right, that's what we're saying.
Safe sex, no
Yeah.
sex, always discussed at the same time.
Overall negative impact, negative influence of pornography, as part of human growth and development.
I think,
That was part of the media-wise component, if I remember the discussion properly, was it not? So,
I added the word negative in there, because I saw the word no, and I was wondering if people misread what was meant by that. So,
that would be possible.
like, somebody just saw, include information on the influence of pornography. Wait, I don't want to teach kids to look at porn, it's not like,
Right.
so, specify negative influences.
Both of those things are in the printout,
But not
so, but
highlighted,
not,
right?
no, and they're not highlighted, so.
Protecting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I could probably take the word no off the end, because now that the word negative is in there.
Mhm, for sure.
probably- Okay.
Clarifies that. So then number 4, did we have,
So you
what
want
are we
to
drilling
have,
down on 4?
you wanna put the, is it do we need a verb in there, enhance instruction on responding to sexual abuse and rape?
Yeah, maybe.
Or
Reporting, getting
reporting?
support.
Yeah, right, like all the different places they
Avoiding
can call.
with, I mean, yes, that's, we also have to explain the sex registry. And the criminal penalties for, not that they're minors, and,
And that's not in there right now,
no,
we need to add that.
That's not on our slides. Oh, and we're,
I inserted a duplicate slide, so that I can, refine this a little bit. Okay, so, we have,
Okay. I remember seeing
Yeah.
The, all right, slide 12. So we kind of commented on this previously when we talked about the statistics, but we hit this kind of hard at our last meeting. When we talked about the information in the health department, there were, when we were looking that over, accessible to our team and our teachers. Really, really important. So.
It might actually be important to the community even,
Right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's on, so you know that I pulled the one from the, health department website,
Mhm.
to put in the packet. So when we talk about the YRBS survey, when that comes up again, what I would state that the committee recommends using it. And then, when it's used, details of when it's given, details about how it's used should be discussed in the SharePoint.
And this is just for 8 through 12, correct?
But wouldn't even be 8 if it's resource, it would have to be 9 through 12.
Yeah, so at the time the board votes on it, they would specify what grade levels will actually take it.
Okay.
Because it may not, it may be, 9 to 10, it may be 9 through 12.
I'm sorry, let me be more specific, I was like, wait, what's happening? The, data won't be used in 4th and 5th grade. Like when you're talking about AIDS and diseases, like, well, in Washington County, so, you know what I'm saying? It's just
Understood.
gonna be
I
used
understood.
for grades 8 through 12.
You would use that in grades 8 through 12 in our current, what we currently do for 4th and 5th grade instruction when we take it, it's not current.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, it is a good idea to stick it for 9 through 12, because some of the 8th graders go to different, they're not in public school, some of them, so, yeah.
So we've worked through the whole presentation, right? We have cleanup to do. And then when we, like I said, I will introduce, but then once we get into